one of the bits of software on our computer now called Logic Audio. Okay, that's this one down here, Logic Pro X. And this is a tutorial to help you get started with how to run Logic Pro. Okay, there it is. We're going to open New, File New, and this is our default setting. Now, if you've used GarageBand, this is kind of familiar. Essentially what it's asking you at the start is, what do you want to do? Are you wanting to use a software instrument? Are you wanting to record some audio? Or are you a guitar, bass, or drummer and you want to record? These are just some presets for you, okay? We're going to start off just with audio and create an input like that. Okay, you're going to notice straight away that the mixing control surface is going to react to what we're doing here on the screen. So if I start to pull the fader up and down on this channel, you'll hear probably in the background the fader here is moving up and down by itself. It's motorized, which is really, really cool. Okay, so this is our audio track. I've got a microphone plugged in. You can see it's picking me up as I'm talking to you, and we're all good to go. If we wanted to record something, we can go ahead and do that. Like GarageBand, it's got some things that are very similar. It's got our tempo up here and our key signature, our metronome control, our count off, and all of our transport buttons. Because we've got our control surface, we can use that to control start and stop and rewind, all that sort of thing. Makes it a lot quicker and easier to do that instead of having to use the mouse for everything as well. Alright, there are a couple of things. We'll load up this with a few more tracks, and I'll just point out a couple of things to think about when you're editing. So we'll create some new audio tracks, and let's also create, oh, no, we want that. We want new tracks, and we want some software tracks as well. Let's come up with about 3 of those. Okay. So this is a fairly standard setup, and you've got this view here where you've got your mixing on the side and your editing window here, and you've got instruments and bits and pieces down there. The view tab will be important if you get many channels happening. Showing the mixer as this view gives you a much quicker way to do things like add effects, pan left and right. You can really see it. This is more like a mixing desk that you would see in a studio. Okay, so what we're if I play with the controls here, you can see it's adjusting the ones that we've got set up there already. Okay, let's go through and add a couple of things to this track, and I'm going to hide the mixer. You can see the shortcut controls. These are really good to memorize because it makes editing a lot quicker. So try and actually get to know them, and that will help your recording go along much smoother. I'm going to turn the click track on and see if we can get our MIDI keyboard playing something. I hope you can hear that. Okay, we'll try and come up with a quick recording here to demonstrate how it works. Okay, so there's a little ditty, 8 bars of something or other. Okay. Now I want to do another layer, so I'm thinking about maybe a bass would be really good. Across here I've got my basses. I can just select 1 or 2 different styles. Now this keyboard is a very small 2-octave keyboard. If I want to go lower, I've got to push the octave minus button on the keyboard, and it gives me a much lower sound. Let's have a look. What else have we got here? So we're going to go back, add this layer in. Okay, now see how it went there. Right, one of the things that sometimes happens, especially if we're at the start of the track, it will clip the very first note you play if you play it slightly earlier than normal. One of the tricks you can do is give yourself a bit of time at the start. So let's play it now, see if it picks that up. Yeah. Okay, cool. So that's pretty straightforward. Now, if I want to add some vocals over that, you know, I've got my channel 1 microphone should be ready to go, and it's picking up some sound. And away I go. I can sing over the top of that, and it will record it. It's pretty straightforward. Okay, so you can keep adding tracks, keep layering things up, keep inputting things from the keyboard like that. The thing that makes Logic Audio similar to GarageBand is the way that loops can be used. Okay, so across here is our loop browser button, and to be honest, we probably haven't. I'm not sure how many loops we'll have in here. It may take some time to find them all and index them all. But it's similar to GarageBand, that you just go through different styles, genres, etc., and you can drag things in and just get the loops to happen. Okay, so it's a good way of getting started with creating music. I mean, it's not original totally because you're just using other people's loops, but it's certainly, you know, a good way to have heaps of fun. Okay, so there's the basics of getting started on Logic, and if you want to save your project, it's pretty straightforward, but you could also export your file as an MP3. So basically select all. Let's do it right now. Select my project and export. Yeah, I think that's the way we go. Oh, share, here we go. We've got a few different ways of doing it. Export, we've got bouncing tracks down, we've got sharing songs, and we've got exporting songs. So a few different options there. I'm going to export a selection as an audio file. So, all right, it gives us some options here for different file types. And I'll go with this one and export it. And there we go. It's shared what I've created as a file. Okay. All right, guys. I hope that gives you an idea of how to get started on Logic. As always, if you don't know how to do something, jump on YouTube and find it. It'll be there.